WWE is holding a big episode of Raw with two title matches tonight. Things can always get extreme on the road to Survivor Series. Just 6 days before the Survivor Series pay-per-view, WWE presents on live WWE Live TV that Raw will be featuring Randy Orton defending the WWE Championship against Drew McIntyre, while the New Day puts the Red Brand Tag Team Champions up for grabs against Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander of the Hurt Business. Now we also notice that WWE has also been teasing Retribution versus Ricochet. Now I do have some predictions for tonight's show, but we will be going over what I think would be for the preview. Now, I do have some predictions, but let's talk about New Day and Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. Now, will the New Day escape the Hurt Business with their goal intact? The New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods defend the Raw Tag Team Champions against the Hurt Business tonight. Now, with hiding implications for the Survivor Series card, a win for Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods keeps the dream match against the Street Profits alive. But a loss puts Montez Ford and Angela Dawkins in the path of the Raw's hardest fashion. While it would be a nice touch for the Hurt Business to add more gold and even jumpstart a rivalry with the New Day, the promos from the Raw's Tag Team Champions and the Street Profits has created a genuine sense of excitement for their prospective showdown. Ripping that dream match away from fans in the name of a cold, mostly meaningless match with no real impact or anything moving forward will be a major letdown. Now, I don't think the Hurt Business versus Street Profits will actually be a letdown. But for those who actually want to see the dream match, I'm guessing it's a letdown to them. As Kofi Kingston and the Woods retains their title tonight and set themselves up for a clash with Forrest and Dawkins in one of Sunday's most anticipated bouts. Okay? And then let me go to my other one. We got, okay. Could the Hurt Business upset the New Day to become the brand new WWE Raw's Tag Team Champion, changing the Survivor Series card? Now, honestly, I thought this was going to be the case, but if you watched Friday Night SmackDown a couple days ago, you would see that Sami Zayn defeated Apollo Crews, so they not doing face versus heel or the face versus heel genre. So it's heel versus heel, Sami Zayn and Bobby Lashley. The Hurt Business actually scored a huge victory over the New Day not long ago, and they had a big chance to become the WWE Raw's Tag Team Champion tonight. It would make sense for them to upset the New Day, considering that they are heels and the Street Profits are pure baby faces. Plus, it allows the New Days to recapture the champions and add another victory to their record. Don't forget that Hurt Business has numbers advantage, and both Bobby Lashley MVP could interfere in the proceeding, resulting in a massive victories for their boys. This is how WWE describes the Tag Team Champion match, which has massive Survivor Series 2020 consequences. And I quote, "Will the Hurt Business indeed take care of business and go on to face the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits at Survivor Series, or will the power of positive prevail once more?" End quote. Now, who do I think will win? Honestly, I think the New Day will win, but I want the Hurt Business, Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander to win. That's who I want to win. Okay, let's keep on going for tonight's show. Since they haven't advertised, I will be letting you guys know what can actually happen tonight. Can we get Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre clashes over the WWE Championship on WWE Raw in a heated match? I will talk more about that later on, but I actually have a couple more. Now, I will actually talk about that later on, but I do want to say this real quick. Of course, the big match on WWERAW this week is the rematch between Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. But if Drew McIntyre does manage to win the huge match for tonight's show, the Survivor Series could look very different. Now, this is how WWE has been hyping up the big match for their biggest prize in the business. And I'll quote, "Now, thanks to the decision relayed by the WWE official Adam Pearce, the Viper must once again go head to head against the Scottish superstar in the WWE title rematch, who would emerge victorious and go on to face the Universal Champion Roman Reigns at Survivor Series." And end quote. Now, don't forget that The Miz has been lurking in the darkest corner of WWE Raw with the Money in the Bank contract. The company will want to make both men look very strong indeed as the two top stars on the WWE Raw brand. So the finish of this match could possibly feature some interference. Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre got into a heated altercation on SmackDown this past week, and many felt that it was setting up a dream match, which is really not a dream match because they faced it at WrestleMania. They both crossed paths in the Royal Rumble, so this is not really a dream match. Randy Orton just became the WWE champion. It would be weird to see him lose the WWE title so very soon, meaning that Roman Reigns could show up this week and cause Drew McIntyre his opportunity. Roman Reigns may not be the only superstar to show up from the SmackDown brand. Honestly, we could see another clash between Sasha Banks and Asuka for tonight's show. We could see Bobby Lashley, Sami Zayn renew their rivalry without Lashley's sisters present. Can the WWE Raw's Women's Survivor team last into Survivor Series? Or will Lana keep putting, or will Nia Jax keep putting Lana through the table once again? Nia Jax has declared herself as the captain, but not everyone in the Raw's women's team seems to be agreement, including her own tag team partner Shayna Baszler. And can you really expect Nia Jax and Lana to coexist on Raw's Survivor Series team when the latter goes through a table every day? Plus, remember, Mandy Rose probably suffered an injury in last week's episode of WWE Raw, and her status may be uncertain. The WWE Survivor Series team for the men on Raw seems like it's on the verge of imploding as well, but the women may have far more issues than the men from the way that things are lined up. WWE superstar Alexa Bliss has been in the spotlight for another reason, and that in fact she could commence on the storyline her own with Nikki Cross, where the two women comes to blows, setting up a program for after Survivor Series. In time, Alexa Bliss could move up the ranks and take Asuka on for the WWE Raw's Women's Champion, provided she starts racking up victories in her new Harley Queenish avatar. I already talked about, well, we're going to continue talking about Alexa Bliss. Now, we could be seeing Alexa Bliss attacking Nikki Cross. On his latest episode of Raw, Nikki Cross asked Alexa Bliss to choose between her and the Fiend. Alexa Bliss ended up choosing the Fiend and walked away. We are going to guess that we will now see Alexa Bliss attack Nikki for tonight's shows. This seems like the next logical development in this storyline. We can picture the lights turning out backstage on Nikki and Alexa attacking her. We already talked about how New Day could retain, but I just don't see them winning. I just don't see the Hurt Business winning the titles and eventually until after Survivor Series. Will Lana get some revenge on Nia Jax? Well, I don't think she would. Probably so heading into Survivor Series. Would the men team work together before heading into Survivor Series. We talked about how SmackDown could possibly evade Raw at the end of the show, but we don't really know if that's the case because Reigns may just run into Braun Strowman or some other WWE superstar from Raw brand as well and wrestle in the main event, just as Drew McIntyre did last week. Now, this is my predictions for Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. Now, with Randy Orton retained in the chaotic Raw main event. Now, the change between Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns on Friday SmackDown left fans wondering who would win the match. Now, Roman Reigns could show up, so do not be surprised if McIntyre finds himself screwed out of the championship by the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. That wants nothing to do with facing Drew McIntyre at Sunday's pay-per-view. The championship encounter couple is what's sure to be the interference from the Blue Brand in the go-home edition of Raw would make for a wild conclusion that sees the Viper slither away with his championship intact as it should. Drew McIntyre just could defeat Randy Orton clean for the WWE Championship. Drew McIntyre can just beat Randy Orton clean. And the reason for this sudden title change is because while a Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns match could be fun, it's still a heel versus heel contest, and a little more. That's a ready-made storyline for Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns based on the events of SmackDown. Now, I don't know how is that going to be in the change because, again, we still got Bobby Lashley and Sami Zayn, which are both heels. So, I don't know. That could win. I hope not because Roman. And let's talk about how Randy Orton should win. Randy Orton somehow managed to remain the face of Raw, defeating Drew McIntyre. Randy Orton has won the top prize in the business more times than most others, and he has done so. This could be the final time that these two men battle one another, and Randy Orton can move into a very different kind of feud with the Fiend. So after Randy Orton beats Drew McIntyre, he could be potentially heading on with the Fiend. Or we have a third potential finish where the Fiend crashes the proceedings and leave both Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre unable to continue. And someone who has a bone to pick with Randy Orton from his time in the Wyatt family is someone who doesn't seem like he's far too pleased with Drew McIntyre either. Because WWE may not want Randy Orton to be defeated so soon after becoming WWE Championship. They can, or even have Drew McIntyre take a pin to make him look strong. They can have the Fiend invade in the match and bring a premature hat with no decisive winner. In fact, if the Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre ends in such indecisive manner leading to Survivor Series, it will probably mean that the three men will mix it up in the episodes that follows. The feud determine the outcome of the Royal Rumble match as well. And let's not forget TLC is also at the Survivor Series, I believe. The Miz can swoops in and win the WWE Championship completely out the blue. I don't think that is happening. But the Miz has been claiming that he's on the watch thing. But if the Miz does become WWE Champion, it would really shake things up on the Raw's roster. In fact, if the Fiend takes both Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton down, it just leaves the option for the Miz to come in and win the WWE Champion to become the face of Raw brand. And I don't think anybody wants to see the Miz and Roman Reigns at Survivor Series. So with neither Drew McIntyre nor Randy Orton making it to Survivor Series, imagine how different the possible main event match would look. However, it should be an easy victory for Roman Reigns. So I don't think nobody will be interested in it. The last potential finish that could happen is Roman Reigns showing up on Raw, causing a distraction, influencing the final outcome. Based on what happened on SmackDown, we could see Roman Reigns heading into Raw tonight to cause a distraction. Now, I don't know if Roman Reigns could come and deliver spirits to both Miz and, I mean, not Miz, McIntyre and Orton, allow the Miz to come in so Miz can actually come in to cash it in just so Roman Reigns can get an easy victory for Team SmackDown. Maybe Drew McIntyre showing up on SmackDown was just for an easy ratings crowd, as we're going to continue to have Roman Reigns and Randy Orton at Survivor Series with Drew McIntyre interference. And so there's a lot to look at for tonight's show. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to hit the like button, comment if you want to see more, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next What You Need to Know for tonight's show on Friday.